one. All right, let's get started. Hopefully, if not, I'll go back over, turn it off and on. But I am excited today to welcome the Grinnell Area Arts Council and their Executive Director, Monica St. Angelo. So will you please help me welcome Monica?
Well, good morning, everyone. Don't talk too close, you said, right? So, well, I just wanted to say on behalf of the board and the staff of the Grinnell Area Arts Council, I just wanted to say thank you to Sarah Smith and the Office of Planning, Partnerships, and Research. Partnerships, Planning, and Research?
It's close. Community, Partnerships, Planning, and Research.
I was close. It
rolls off the tongue, yes.
I just wanted to say thanks for inviting us to be here today and talk about the Arts Council, so thank you. Well, before we get started, I figured many of you know me, but some of you don't, and I thought I would just do a quick about me and how I got here and my arts background and my qualifications for working at the Arts Council. So my art is dance. I was a classically trained dancer, and as you can see, this is a very long time ago. I did most of my classical training at the Kansas City Ballet, and so this is backstage at the Nutcracker, which was kind of a nice tie-in for me to something we did last year here in Grinnell. This is my absolute favorite ballet to watch or perform. It's called Serenade, choreographed by George Balanchine, and that's me. Just some arms. So I pursued that. I went to college eventually and I got a history degree, and then I ended up here in Grinnell with my husband, who is a faculty member in chemistry and neuroscience at Grinnell College in 1999. So we've been here for almost 27 years, which is not as long as some of you, I know, but it's a good long time, and I do feel like a Grinnellian at this point. Along the way, I've done a lot of different things, but what I realized is that movement has been the through line for me. And so, even though I went to school for history, all of my jobs really seem to have stemmed from that movement, that arts background that I have. And so I taught fitness classes when my kids were small. Eventually, I owned a yoga studio here in Grinnell, which was above the coffee shop. So I was a small business owner. I choreographed for the Grinnell Community Theater musicals. So if you saw Seussical or The Music Man or Little Shop of Horrors, I worked on that with a couple of wonderful people that you might know, Judy Hunter and Deb Polson, and we choreographed those musicals. I was on the board of the Arts Council in the early 2000s. So there's just a lot of ways in which I was connected to the arts in Grinnell over the years. When my oldest child was ready to go to college, I thought I might need to earn a little money, so of course I looked to the arts. That's a joke. So it just so happened that the Arts Council needed a bookkeeper and operations manager at the time, and I got hired, and that's how I started almost 8 years ago. So that's how I got here. Very much kind of a liberal arts type of situation, right? Doing a lot of different things that brought me to this job, which I really love. I've learned so much, I continue to learn, and that's part of the fun of it for me, for sure. So yeah, just to get started, I thought we would do kind of a past, present, future. Many of you have been intimately engaged with the Arts Council for many years, know a lot about the past. Some of you may not, so I wanted to do a quick summary and kind of get us to where we're going, talk about a few big projects, things like that. Can you hear me okay? Yeah. Am I doing okay with the microphone? Okay.
Okay.
Oh, shoot. That's back on? I just have to laugh. And yeah.
Okay.
You might want to just take a seat on that stool there, sir. All right, well, I just wanted to give a quick overview of the mission, vision, and values of the Arts Council. The current mission, and has been for many years, is to enrich the community by supporting creative expression. That feels a little vague to me at times, and so a couple years ago, we kind of drilled down to put some values in place to help be guideposts for us as we do our work at the Arts Council. And so I'll come back to the values in particular as we move on. Of course, we want to do the mission. We want to make Grinnell a better place through the arts. And that's just sort of our overarching mission. And all of the other things are a little more, detailed. They do help when we are setting our goals. They help me focus because this organization is sort of a big, sprawling mass. And so these are very important for me. They're guideposts for me. So yes, short-ish history. The Grinnell Area Arts Council was incorporated as a nonprofit organization in 1979. It was all volunteer, and it was membership-based, so folks, and many of you in the room, became members, and that money was used to provide many grants to art teachers in town. It provided scholarships to high school students. We still do that program. And also it helps support special arts events in Grinnell and summer camps, summer arts camps, and other events such as that. Our nonprofit status is tied to education. It's based on education. So everything the Arts Council does needs to have an education focus in order to stay compliant with our nonprofit status. Of course, the Arts Council didn't have a physical home. I remember meeting in the basement of the Veterans Building at someone's house, so there were a lot of, there was no central location. And that is illustrated by my own children here, once again. This was a summer camp, Grinnell Arts Council summer camp in 2009 out on Tom and Alicia Lucina's farm. And my son was very attached to that clip-on tie. But you can see his shirt that says Global Arts Camp. And I think also for many of you who know Alicia Lucina, that is identifiably Alicia Lucina artwork there on that shirt. So that was 2009. Again, not a home base for the Arts Council. Until about 2009-10, when it was a new era. And the library was moving to their beautiful new facility. The Stewart building was vacated. Let's see if I move this around.
You need to laugh.
Ha ha, hee hee. It's hee hee. So yes, in 2009, the Stewart building was vacated, and some wonderful people got together and decided it would be a great hub for the arts in Grinnell. I love these pictures because this is Samantha Newport scraping glue off of the tile, which was covered in that building. And this is the end result of uncovering the tile. It's not quite that shiny right now. But I love these early pictures of the work that was done by this coalition of area arts organizations. So the idea was that all of these smaller arts organizations in Grinnell would come together under one nonprofit 501c3. So there's one organization that can cover and deal with the work of maintaining a 501c3. There are tax filings every year. It's a lot of work. And so several organizations united to move into the Stewart building to keep it a community space and to create a hub for the arts in Grinnell, a physical hub. And also to hire the first paid staff person for the Grinnell Area Arts Council to manage these programs and facility. You will see up here at the top, Tom Lucina, who, as many of you know, has been the real heartbeat of the Arts Council in many ways for many years. This I would say is one of his favorite places to be, which is up on a scaffold renovating something. And you'll see as we go on how much renovation has happened. I also love this picture because look at these lights. These were the lights on the ceiling of the Art Center when the library vacated. Some good 60s, 70s vibes there. So the Arts Council and the groups that came together negotiated a forgivable loan with the city. Part of the requirements from the city were that we renovate the space at least $120,000 investment, which I believe the city matched. I'm not sure. And that the space had to remain a public space that provided programming throughout the year that was accessible to the community. And we just completed that loan in 2025, I should say. So, now the building belongs to us. So, as you can see, there was also at the time a push to establish an endowment, which is a very important piece of financial stability for the Arts Council that is held at the Grinnell Greater Powesheik Community Foundation. Here's a quick list of the organizations that came together. Grinnell Community Theater, a big one. The Mayor's Art Gallery was in the old city building, and now that is the Stewart Gallery in the Grinnell Arts Center. The Turlock Pipe Band, I hope that many of you know the bagpipe band that resides here in Grinnell. The Studio 6, arts education for kids was in existence, it just didn't have a home. The Grinnell Community Band was managed through the city of Grinnell, and they funded it at the time as well. Music in the Park had been started by Bill Menner and the Grinnell Renaissance Program, which I think evolved into Powesheik I-80 development, which is now something else. The same, but a different name. And Grin City Collective was an artist residency out on Tom and Alicia Lucina's farm. It was tangentially connected. It became under the financial umbrella and 501c3 at a certain point. So that's just some of the organizations that came together, and I will make another joke and say that on a good day I call it a patchwork quilt, and on a bad day I call it a Frankenstein. There's a lot of personalities and history and people that come with these organizations coming together. It makes it fun and exciting, and then sometimes challenging. But I mean, just look at this list of the arts in Grinnell, over the past 40 years. We had a foresight to come together and move into the Arts Center. The Arts Center has sort of stabilized into its usage now. The lower level on the right there is primarily kids' education, just like it was the children's library. It's the children's education area. That's a Studio 6 picture from a couple years ago. And then on the main floor, the gallery has become a central piece of the building as well, and it has settled into an annual schedule. And then on the main floor also, we have this lobby space that we use for classes because there's not a classroom aside from the basement, which if you've been there, it's not great for adults. Low ceilings, big pillars. So this is a sewing class that takes place on the main floor. We rent that space out sometimes for events and meetings. We also have our receptions and things like that in that space. So we've kind of settled into a usage, a public space at the Arts Center. Of course, on the top floor, in 2014, we completed over $240,000 worth of renovations to make that a black box theater up in the loft theater. We call it the loft theater on the fourth floor, the home of Grinnell Community Theater. This is a picture from 2015 of the Fantastics, and I believe that's Mark Montgomery up on the table there. You might recognize some of the other folks. So yes, Grinnell Community Theater has about at least usually three productions each year. They also have started doing some open table reads, acting workshops. We're hoping to do more of that to get more people involved. It is an all-volunteer organization underneath the umbrella of the Arts Council still. In 2020, we completed a green room addition to the theater. Previous to that, the actors had to run down to the basement to change costumes on a spiral staircase often, which is very treacherous. So there was no place for them to sit in between their scenes, no place to change costumes. So we completed this addition on top, in the back of the building, on top of the art gallery. It's got a little more stuff in it now. And now, it's a much more comfortable place to put on a production. I should say we also rent this out sometimes, in particular to Grinnell College students who are doing a senior map production, and we'll have one coming up this spring. They find it a really nice size. They really love working out of that theater. Okay, I'll speed up a little bit here. We didn't have enough space. It's always more. If you build it, they will come sort of situation. So in 2017, the storefront across the street became open, and again, the Arts Council and a variety of folks came together to renovate. Tom is there, I don't have a picture of him. Renovate the space and create rentable artist studios. This was before Mainframe Studios, if any of you have been to that building in Des Moines. It's a 4-story building filled with rentable artist studios, little spaces that artists can rent so that they have a studio, but it's not such an onerous proposition. That was the initial idea here, but as with everything at the Arts Council, it evolved. There was some flexible space. This was the opening party. This was Katie Inn, who worked at the Arts Council for a while. Many of you remember her. Other familiar faces. Mojo Machine, the band, another familiar Grinnell institution, was the opening band, opening night at the Stew. And then it continued to evolve because in 2018, we moved the ceramics program to the garage of the Stew Maker space. I don't exactly have a photo here, but it had been basically in a closet in the basement of the Art Center. And so they moved above ground to the back of the Stew and gained more space to lead classes, more space for the folks who are regular working ceramicists and potters. In 2018 also, this guy right here in the middle with the red hair, Sage Kaplan Goland, was a Grinnell College student who wanted a makerspace. It was something that he had grown up with, and he did not find that when he came to campus. So he teamed up with the Wilson Center at Grinnell College, the Wilson Center for Innovation and Leadership, to find a place where he could create a makerspace. And they worked out I guess you can't quite tell here. So we made a wood shop at that time. You basically just walked through it, so I wouldn't say it was the safest space. But he banded together with the Wilson Center. They provided some financial help to renovate the space, once again, create the wood shop, put in some tech equipment like 3D printers, laser cutters, that sort of thing. And, Stew 2.0 started. And since then, the college students have been very involved. The Wilson Center has been very involved with the makerspace. It really is a collaboration. The Wilson Center, in case you don't know, they do pay for student workers at the makerspace. So it's an off-site campus job for Grinnell College students. And they're amazing. They come in, they know how to sew, they know how to do all kinds of stuff on the technical equipment. Some of them are really advanced woodworkers and metal workers. So it's a wonderful opportunity for them to exercise their leadership skills, and it's a wonderful boon to the community to have them in this space that is accessible, that calls the community in. The college pays for each year a substantial sum to allow the college students to use the space. So it pays for their membership, so to speak. And that is a huge chunk of the Stew's budget at the moment. So we have lots of community members as well, in particular the ceramics program. I'll keep forwarding here. All this to say, you might recognize Jane Mertens up there. This is an early wood shop workshop with Rich Dana making a picture frame. We continue to evolve. COVID shut us down completely, and in that time, we renovated again. So we enclosed the wood shop, made it a safer space, a lockable space. We put in soundproofing. We moved the bathroom, so it used to be that you'd walk into the Stew and right there was a bathroom. So it didn't feel very welcoming. So we moved the bathroom. All that to say, this top right is the ceramics studio. Looks even a little different now. We're always changing. This is the front room on the bottom where you can do tech, you can do crafts, all kinds of things. We're actually getting a new stainless steel industrial sink to help us with some of the messier activities. This is the wood shop. An important development for the Stew Makerspace was the hiring of Craig Gibbons in 2021. So it became clear that that program really needed its own manager. I was part-time, Craig was hired part-time, But under his stewardship, the stew, it really has blossomed. I think many of you know that. It kind of brings us to today and where we are, and I want to go back to those values: education, support, opportunity, and community. So when I went to look at how many classes we offered last year, it was over 130, and I was kind of flabbergasted. So classes and workshops, over 130, and that really is, I would say, with a reasonably limited team of instructors. The college students teach some of those workshops. We have local folks who are experts in their fields who teach some of these workshops. That includes Studio 6 and our youth programming. A couple years ago, we had hired a part-time youth education coordinator who has added some new programs. So this is just a smattering of some of the classes and workshops that we've offered. Sewing, this is in the metal shop, which is part of the stew maker space. And I also want to mention that we are an education space in a different way, which is that we are a space for Grinnell College students, as I mentioned before, to have off-campus, to have jobs. They're on-campus jobs, but we are a site. So these two, Kira and Lillian, are service leadership work study students who work at Studio 6. Each summer, since COVID, I have had a Grinnell College student intern who works with us throughout the summer. Let's see, I've had a sociology practicum student twice who spends a whole semester with us digging deep into a project. So it's just a wonderful gift to us to have those students in our space bringing their talents, but we also provide real life experience for them. So my first practicum student helped me choose the software to manage our donor base. And that was actually a key hiring point for her when she graduated from Grinnell College and went on to get a job in the arts field. So the fact that she knew about the software was very important. Yeah, another little thing to tout is at the stew, we log users in and out. And using that log, which probably underestimates a little bit, we recorded over 6,000 hours of people using the stew for creative time just last year, which is pretty extraordinary. Okay, supporting local artists, another one of our values. And this, again, 2025, we have a group of artists who started meeting monthly, and we just help facilitate that. They're really taking it and running with it, but they can meet at the Arts Council, at the Arts Center if they like. They meet at homes as well. When you're a practicing artist, sometimes it can be kind of lonely. So this is a way for them to connect with other practicing artists, critique, share ideas, woes. In 2025 as well, Mainframe Studios, again, that place in Des Moines I've referenced, reached out because they wanted to feature Grinnell artists in one of their galleries, the third floor gallery. And so we organized a group of Grinnell artists and installed the show. And First Fridays at Mainframe is a big deal. They have at least 1,000, if not over 2,000 people come through in one night. That is more than come through our gallery in a year. So the opportunity for these artists to have their work in front of so many eyeballs was very special. It was a blast. It was so fun to see a whole bunch of Grinnellians there on the opening night of First Friday. Every year, this local artist market that sort of started again as a seed has grown into a month-long event that opens coinciding with Jingle Bell Holiday, so that we really help with that annual event and the economic impact that it has on the town of Grinnell. And it also is a great opportunity for local artists to sell their work. So a lot of times when an artist wants to go to an art fair, they have to staff the booth. I mean, you've probably been to a summer art fair. They're there in their booth selling their wares. And in this case, they bring the wares to us, and we take care of it for the rest of the month. So they pay a little commission on what they sell, but they don't have to be present all the time to take care of their work. And of course, every year the Pottery Studio works on the Empty Bowls fundraiser for the Micah Food Pantry, and we sell those bowls at the at the local artist market and just help facilitate that fundraiser for MICA as well. So these are some ways that we are supporting our local folks. Opportunity. So we want to provide opportunities for Grinnellians to participate in the arts, and we do it a lot. These are just a few ways. Grinnell Community Theater, again, a featured program I love this picture of the folks who were in Rumors, Neil Simon's Rumors, a couple of shows ago, last spring, I think, dancing. Again, another great way for people to connect through something they love and have a space to do it. So community theater is one great way that Grinnellians can participate in the arts and enjoy. The audiences can enjoy watching. Grinnell Community Band, another program where Grinnellians who are musicians who maybe don't get to pick up their instruments as often as they like in the summer can get together with other musicians and perform in Central Park. And I would just mention that this year they're going to do 2 Thursday evenings and they're going to do 2 Saturday morning farmers market performances where it's cooler. The sun's behind them. The new stage has, changed the equation a little bit. Again, more ways. The gallery, not our most profitable program, which is fine because it gives Grinnellians a chance to show their work in public. So every year we host all of the school kids in Grinnell via their art teachers. We host artwork by all of them. They get to come to the building and see their artwork up on the walls. We get to feature local artists who maybe it's the first time they're showing their work, as it was with John Weaver this fall. He had been an educator for years from Grinnell area, and he was also an artist. And we have a committee, they had looked at his work, and it was just a blast. He was so pleased. It was a lovely show. It was a really nice opportunity to be able to, champion a local artist. So some of the ways that we provide opportunities for Grinnellians to participate and enjoy the arts. And all of those things, I think, lead to the community aspect. And when we talk about the future of the Arts Council, that is something that I think we really need to lean into. These are a few community programs. Public art. So I'm hoping that many of you were here in 2024 when we did the wheat paste mural project. And we did it in coordination with the dedication of this building, actually. So there were many wheat paste murals up connected to Edith Renfrow Smith and her family and their residents in the town of Grinnell in the early 20th century. This is the 1932 Grinnell High School football team and the 2024 Grinnell High School football team. And this is the Browns shoe fit ball. So again, they're not taking a class, it's not a formal art experience, but they are experiencing art in Grinnell, just walking down the street. And that's one of my favorite ways to kind of, get people. This was part of the wheat paste project. This is artist Cornelia Clark's cat, one of her cats that she dressed up. It's reading the paper. Almost as an afterthought, with the artist Isaac Campbell, who did the wheat paste murals, we went around town and we put a bunch of these cats, which maybe you've seen. There's one at the Mayflower. And people just went nuts. I guess maybe you would call it viral in a way, except it's not on the internet, but people were crazy for finding these cats, which is the inspiration for the next project I'll talk about. Junior musical, again, kids coming together. That top right is Shakespeare in the Park that we did last summer. We'll do that again this summer. Bottom right, music in the park. One of our tentpole programs, probably the way we reach the most people throughout the year. And a summer staple for the town of Grinnell, creating economic impact, attracting people to town. So I'm going to kind of go fast through these boring things. Look at my watch. I'm doing okay. So you can see it's been a huge evolution. The Arts Council has been gone from all volunteer to having now 2 full-time staff people. So we made Craig a full-time staff person in 2023, and then just last summer, when the board voted to appoint me executive director, they also made me full-time. And that's to give me more time to work on fundraising. But this year we're doing some strategic planning. I hope that many of you were able to take some of the surveys we had out in the fall. We're still in the process of doing that, but these are sort of the things that I think of when I think about how we can sustain the Arts Council into the future. So I feel very strongly that the Arts Council is an essential institution for the town of Grinnell. The arts, they make everything better, and they're a place that people can express themselves. Maybe if they don't feel comfortable expressing themselves in other ways, they can connect. It makes the town more appealing, but we'll keep talking about that. But my goal, ever since I started, really, is to create an arts council that will keep on into the future. And I know that's been the goal for many folks who have worked on the Arts Council projects and organization in the past. So it just quick, rundown of the things that are important. I'll go through them. Structure and process is kind of boring, but it's really important. It has been the case, just the normal evolution, that sometimes the Arts Council's health has arisen and fallen on the back of who happens to be in the room. And so what I would like to do is create a structure so that it will survive staffing changes, it will survive the retirement of volunteers, very important volunteers. And so succession planning is part of that. I mean, I feel like I'm succession planning for myself. I'm not planning on going anywhere soon, but I want the organization I want to leave it in good shape so someone can step in when I leave. Volunteerism has changed. So sustainability is really difficult if you're only a volunteer organization at this point. Life has changed. Finances have changed. Demands of work and life and families, that all has changed. So the previous model of volunteerism, it just isn't sustainable. And that leads me sort of to this last point of evaluating each program. There are some programs that are completely sustained by volunteers right now, which is wonderful. We have so many wonderful, committed people. But what can we do to keep those programs going after those folks are going to retire or move away or whatever happens? So these are all things that I think about and that and that the board thinks about as we look forward. So finances, a huge part of that. Expenses for everything have gone up. Our property insurance went up by 33% last year. That's a huge jump. Our funding scenario has not changed. So that is something that I need to work on improving. And this is just a little breakdown. Our endowment did actually, I don't think of endowment as real money, but the endowment did hit $1 million this past year, which is quite an accomplishment, something that I know Tom Lucina had been hoping would occur. But the disbursement from the endowment at this point really, it's, as you can see, it's 15% of our total budget. And so I'd like to make all of those numbers a little more, the hard numbers a little better for us. I'd like to match the expenses. And the other important piece of that is, in order for this organization to survive, we need to pay people, and they need to be viable jobs. So again, someone might be looking for a job to lead an arts organization, and they might look to Grinnell, and they'll see that there is a job at the Arts Council. They might move to this town. So again, this is, I'll refer back to that. In 2025, we retired the membership model because it just didn't work very well for the way that donations happen to the Arts Council now in 2025, 2026. And so we're going to an annual fund model, and we launched the Lucina Legacy Annual Fund to honor the extraordinary work that Tom and Alicia Lucina have done for so many years for the Arts Council. So as you heard their names throughout this presentation, Tom has really been, he's our legal counsel. Right now he's the chair of the board, but he's been our chief renovator, fundraiser champion. Many of you know this. He really has been a through line for the Arts Council in many ways, along with many other people. I don't want to downplay the contributions of all the people who have worked on the Arts Council in the past. Alicia has been an educator at the Arts Council for years and years, so she's taught many, many kids. And it's fun to look back at the old pictures of Studio 6 and see so many kids that I know now grown, including my own, who were there being taught by Alicia. And she is actually going to retire from Studio 6 at the end of this year. So it's going to be a big transition. And then part of this transition, part of the future, was creating an executive director position again. We tried that a little bit before. Maybe this wasn't the right fit at the time, and again, things kind of ebb and flow, and I'm hoping to keep things from ebbing moving forward. So that full-time bump for me will allow me to pursue, I hope, it's the idea, have more time to pursue fund financing. So just a quick shout out to the economic impact of the arts. Again, this is information that I want to lean into as we talk about fundraising for the Arts Council in Grinnell in the future. And these are all statistics from the Iowa Arts Council itself. Got the source down there. The arts and culture in a community, they create good jobs, as I was talking about, valid, viable jobs, strong local economies. In Iowa, the arts and cultural production is a $5 billion industry. It makes more livable communities. I think we all know that, right? Like, we certainly are blessed with college and all of the artistic and cultural events that happen at the college, but there's lots more to Grinnell. And it really is quite amazing at the town our size, what we managed to do here. But we want people to move here. We want people to want to stay here. We want people to go out to an event here and patronize our local restaurants. I mean, all of this is of a piece, right? The arts nurtures innovators. We saw that with our college students who wanted to create the makerspace. A strong tourism economy, that's a given. If you have events, people will come. And of course, improved health and well-being, another thing that's very dear to my heart. That participating in the arts, connecting with other people through the arts, makes you healthier, happier, and by ripple effect makes the community healthier and happier as well. So in that vein, another key element for me as we look forward to, for the Arts Council is collaboration. Because in Grinnell, we are small. We have lots of organizations that have one or two people. The Chamber has 2 full-time positions. The Arts Council has 2 full-time positions, and you look at all the work we do. To bring a bigger event to Grinnell, it takes collaboration. We have to work together, and it's more fun. And so, Ms. Sarah Smith, right here, reached out last year to the Arts Council and Aaron Buston at the Grinnell School of Music to collaborate on bringing Ballet Des Moines Nutcracker to Grinnell, and it really took the team. It was a tremendous lift. Sarah could not have done it herself. And I mean, despite a giant snowstorm, it was a great success. It was so special for these local Grinnell dancers and Brooklyn dancers and a few other places to be able to dance with professional dancers. It was a special experience for Grinnell audiences to be able to see a professional ballet production in Grinnell. We worked really hard to keep the price down so that it was as accessible as we could make it. We had some donations to bring folks who couldn't afford it at all. So we had many folks who got free tickets. And it's just the example of what we can do when we collaborate and come together. And I think it was a roaring success. And it was dear to my heart, the Nutcracker in my history. So this is a collaboration on a project that's coming up this year. And this is part of the Creative Places Accelerator Program of the Iowa Arts Council. We're calling it Creatures of Grinnell. These are just mock-ups, but the collaboration in this case is the City of Grinnell, the Arts Council, a local artist, and it was originally POW I-80 development. They've dropped out a little bit because of all their changes. Building on those wheat paste cats and the scavenger hunt idea, Grinnell got so excited about that. We wanted to keep some of that magic, we hope. So we dreamed up this Creatures of Grinnell project. Last summer, we collected artwork from local children at the library, Grinnell College's Art in the Park program, at the Link program, at our own programs, and other sort of sundry places. We had a committee that went through the artwork and chose several that were going to stamp. Leslie Wright was on that committee, got to look at lots of creatures. We're going to stamp them on metal and install them around Grinnell so that people can, so it's featuring art by local kids, and it's creating kind of a fun public art program for the town. A good portion of them will be in the downtown area, so people can come to Grinnell and do a little downtown scavenger hunt to find all the creatures. Some of them will be further afield. This is Marvin Gardens down by Arbor Lake. So that's in the works. I'm calling this coming June our Creatures June because we'll be doing events to kick off this project. We also have another collaboration that's happening in June, which is the Grinnell Community Theater will present the musical A Year with Frog and Toad. And Tom Lucina is directing that, another one of his talents. And Aaron Buston will be doing the music direction. So it's a collaboration of the Arts Council and the Grinnell School of Music. And frogs and toads are creatures, so I felt like it tied in. We're going to put all of the artwork from local kids up in the gallery as well. So, and then our summer camps at the Arts Council will be creature camps. So we've got lots of creature themed happening. But again, these collaborations, these projects wouldn't be possible without collaborating. And lastly, we are expanding and renovating yet again. So the stew, it was very tight, and we had a lot of equipment. It's very popular. You saw over 6,000 hours of creative time last year. We had the opportunity to rent the storefront just south of it, punched a hole. There's Tom again in one of his favorite places, construction zone. And we have spread out. If you haven't been in there, you should stop in and take a tour sometime. This is, again, another sort of long and narrow space. At the back of it is a garage. We're going to renovate that garage, about $30,000, we think, to make a really nice classroom, which we really haven't had, like that ideal arts classroom. So we're hoping to be able to host more classes in that space. It's also an uninterrupted space, which we don't have very much. There aren't many spaces in either of these buildings where you can close the door and not be interrupted by people walking through as you're teaching a class. So the other idea with that garage space classroom is that we'll be able to host more revenue generating programs. So we'll be able to have kids' birthday parties that are art themed, or team building events that are art themed. So the hope is that since we are spending more money, that they will come to the programming that's going to happen in that space. And certainly that gives more space to the rest of the stew maker space. We can accommodate more folks who are interested in pottery, more folks who are interested in sewing. We have a big textile station. So yeah, the important thing to me about all of the Arts Council spaces, and in particular right now the stew maker space, is that it's a third space. It's not your home, it's not your work, it's that third space where you can go to be with community, you can meet people. We have one person who does a project. He comes to the stew, he's a member, he does a project that doesn't have anything to do with what we have to offer. You may know him, he ties flies, he's a fly fisherman. He likes to be in the space, he likes to be there with company as he works on his projects. And in that time, students stop by and talk to him about what he's doing. Community members stop by and talk to him about what he's doing. He may lead a workshop in fly tying, tongue twister, in the future. So it's just I think, a great example of what this space can be for our community. And so I want more of that. Aside from third space, another term that gets thrown around is 18-hour vitality, when you're talking about the vitality of a community, not just the work hours of the day, but that, which I think is considered 12-hour vitality, but those other hours of the day, what's happening in your community. When you come to downtown Grinnell on a weeknight, often the Arts Council the Arts Center, I should say, is open for a class, and the stew is open until 8 every night, Tuesday through Friday. It's a storefront downtown that's lit up, that's projecting life in our downtown, and we just need more of that. So it's that 18-hour vitality outside of our work hours. Grinnell gets a lot of people, extra people during the day who work here, then they leave. What can we do either to attract people to live here or to give them something to do after work? So those are all ways and avenues that I think will help the Arts Council stay viable in the future. We're always throwing spaghetti at the wall. We did a haunted house this year, which was great fun. The Arts Center, I hope you will agree, is the perfect building for a haunted house. And people love Halloween and they love to dress up. So these are our volunteers who helped us make it happen. Friday Night Kids Club is something new we're trying. Once a month or so on a Friday night, we'll have a 2-hour arts program for kids in the Arts Center so their parents can go have a quiet dinner or something. And we've got a lot more Friday night out programs happening for adults as well. In particular, courtesy of a new instructor, Bethany Hensley has moved to town. Casual art meetups, the Iowa Art Quilters met in the stew most recently. And we're just working on more programming and seeing what happens. I really would like to be able to host even more people in our spaces at times when they're not used. So trying to figure out how to fund that and run that and staff that, that's the exciting part. Yes, so that's really the end. I just want to say it's really impressive to me, at coming late into the organization, what has happened by so many people over the past 47 years of this organization and how it's evolved and changed with the town. It's really important to me to see if we can make sure that it continues to serve the community of Grinnell for a long time. Yeah, so some of my thanks. My sociology practicum student last year wrote a comprehensive put together a comprehensive history of the organization, so I had to shout her out and say thank you. But anyway, thank you so much for listening to me talk about the place I love, and if you have any questions, happy to answer. And if not, get more coffee. There's more pastries.
I'll really quick. I'm really glad you gave a shout out to Aaliyah. Is that what?
Yes, Aaliyah. Yeah.
Because I was sitting here as you were talking about all the history and all the organizations at the beginning that came together. I'm so glad it's in one place. Written about it, because that's impressive to have that many organizations come together to form, the Grinnell Area Arts Council. That's really
Patchwork quilt.
Yeah.
Sometimes Frankenstein.
I do have a question, and I should have asked it yesterday. Yesterday, the ambassadors went to the Stew Makerspace. As you talk about the after-school program, is that staying at the space it's in right now? Do you ever envision it moving across the street? Just being in that space yesterday, there's so much space. And I just wondered if that might be something, or if the after-school program is still staying at the original library space across the street.
Well, I'll tell you, one challenge for me and for all of us at the Arts Council to think about as the stew grows and becomes even busier is, okay, so what do we keep at the Arts Center? There isn't any plan in the near future to move the after-school program out of the basement, or the lower level, as I prefer to call it, because there's so much equipment in the stew that is not safe for younger folks. And so that's a challenge figuring out. We do have in the summer, we had last summer a sculpt and scan workshop that welcomed younger kids, but it's a very supervised, a limited program. So figuring out how to have younger folks in that space is an ongoing conversation. And the new classroom might enable us to, again, be able to sequester a little bit. I don't know how that program is going to evolve. Alicia's going to retire. Lauren MG is the one who will continue carrying on Studio 6. Part of the surveying and the strategic planning is understanding if the structure of that program still serves the community, or do we change it? So, for no plans at the moment, there's conversations always ongoing about how we can serve the community better.
Yeah, I didn't think about, I suppose, little kids and the woodworking workshop probably isn't the
Well,
best
that- yeah.
thing to be together.
Yeah, that
You know,
one we
going
can
and-
lock and close.
Okay,
But
yeah.
even the 3D printers.
And sewing machines too.
Yeah, sewing
Yeah.
machines. There's a lot of stuff that's out that just isn't appropriate for little hands.
Yeah, so true.
Mm-hmm.
So yesterday too, real quick, you were talking about, you had a sip and paint kind of event. And I was noticing the other things that you had coming up too. So I just want to make sure we all knew, one, how to get involved, and then two, how to financially support you guys as well.
That place, or just come talk to me. I take checks. Everything you want to know you can find at our website, but I will shout out that this Saturday, the college student staff at the Stu Makerspace are running a free clothing repair workshop. And we're looking at ways to do more repair cafes. I don't know if you've ever seen those in other places. To the capacity that we can. So yes, this Saturday there's a free clothing repair workshop at the Stu, 11 to 2. And yes, we have many. A week from Friday, we're doing our second Friday Night Kids Club. We also have coming up so many more. Like I said, we're gonna beat 130 this year for sure. Friday night workshops, we've got Bethany is teaching a Sola wood flower workshop. So there are these very light wood flowers that you can dye. They're beautiful. I never even knew they existed. She did one workshop that was sold out pretty much. She's doing another one in May. She's gonna do classes to make a pottery planter. So another challenge at the Stu has been balancing the needs of someone who is, for example, a dedicated ceramic artist who is coming to the studio constantly and using the resources there, with the population in town that just wants to come on a Friday night and do a sip and paint and have that option and have fun with their friends and explore their artistic side a little bit in a really casual, no stress environment, but don't necessarily want to commit to being a ceramic artist, right? So with the move to town of Bethany Hensley, our newest instructor at the Makerspace, she had lived in Arizona for a long time. Part of the reason that she moved to Grinnell, her mother's in Montezuma, I think, besides family, is that we had a ceramic studio here. So that she's a ceramic artist, she sells her items online for hundreds of dollars, but she's a talented teacher, and she teaches more than just pottery. So. But part of the reason she moved here was because there was a ceramic studio that she could join. So we just want to make more of that happen. And she's a great teacher, so we got lucky. By the way, to support us, I didn't do a good job of telling you that, but
No worries.
you can go to our website. Our endowment is at the Grinnell Greater Powesheet Community Foundation. Thought I had our website pulled up here, but maybe I didn't. So there's a whole section on the Stu. You can learn all about it and what you can do there by membership. This has a big list of the programs that we manage and have managed, along with some other fun things. Over here in the donate button, that gives you a rundown of the many ways that you can support the Arts Council. And of course, again, there are so many great organizations in Grinnell to support, and we deeply appreciate the support that we get from this community. It really is extraordinary. Doesn't mean we're not going to keep asking. I myself every year I'm always like, trying to figure out where all the donations are going. So, you really can find out everything you want to know here, but you can also stop by and chat with us.
I have a question that could sort of be answered yes or no, but is this in the interest of making a contribution to the vitality of the community, making a contribution to the reputation of the community, and just the visual pleasures of an art show? And that is your art gallery space booked for the year? You said something about 3 shows a year?
7.
So you
3 student shows, I believe.
That's
yes.
Right.
Yeah.
70 years. So is that booked?
It is booked.
So you never have anybody else doing anything? Yeah.
Oh, you mean, do we do the same shows? No. Each year, if this is what you're asking about the schedule for the Arts Center, or for the gallery, and if there's space for new artists?
Or exhibitions, actually. I mean,
Other exhibitions? Traveling exhibitions and things like that?
well, traveling exhibitions tend to be very expensive.
Yeah. Yeah.
So don't do that. I have 30 years as a museum art curator.
Yeah.
And more or less, might be 30 something. And I had the opportunity once to bring a show here by having it assembled for us. And God love these people. They trucked it here and then they installed it.
Yeah.
And I lifted, one finger, yes, this is the place. All that.
Oh, I
It was
see.
amazing.
Yeah.
And it was almost all Iowa or immediately Midwestern artists, and people in Des Moines certainly found out about it, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Well, I had that one slide about evaluating each program and how it works. I mean, again, in the interest of one of our key values, which is supporting local artists, most often we are hosting artists that have some kind of tie to Grinnell in the gallery. But each year we do have 3 shows that are student shows, and those are the same every year. So a few years ago we started having a Grinnell College student art major show. We have some generous donors who provide awards for those students, and then we have the high school, middle school, elementary school, Christian school. And so that leaves us with about, and then the artist market takes up the gallery for a month and a half, really. So it leaves us with about 4 spots each year to fill, and certainly in those spots we will prioritize sometimes our own programs. So Studio 6 has had their own show up there several times, Spooky Town, and they were a part of the haunted house this year, so that kind of worked out well. Otherwise, we do get submissions from artists around Iowa, and we have a committee of folks about 5 people on that committee right now, who look at the submissions and decide what will come, what we have space for. So we are booked for the next 2 years. And I'll just say this summer, we were gonna have, the high school reunion committee was gonna do a Grinnell High School show, and that fell through for them. We're not organizing that one. So we're gonna do the Creatures. It kind of worked out well. In July, we have local artist Dina Peterson, who has had a show before, but she has a new body of work, and so she applied to do a show again. In September, maybe some of you were here for a coffee with the college with Pascal Lafontant, who is a Grinnell College biology professor, but he's also an artist. So he'll have a show in September. In October, this is another collaboration that kind of came out of some conversations with Dina Peterson, who has a friend, Bob Campagna, who has a gallery in Mount Vernon. He has been a photographer for a long time, and he has a collection of photos of folks from the Meskwaki tribe. And so we started talking about, can we display these photos? Can we connect with the Meskwaki folks and see what we could do? So in October, we'll have a show with Bob's photos, with some, not the right word. Implements is not the right word. You know what I'm trying to say. Some items from the Meskwaki collection will all be, what's that? Artifacts, thank you. We'll have a show that combines those. So, and then in the coming years, there'll be more local artists, and yeah.
That's terrific. You got a going concern here.
Thank you. It's a little daunting to have, some real experts in this field in the room.
I was just going to ask one, you brought up another question. I'm not surprised that you've got a real system in place to evaluate, project, plan, and so on. Is there some way you can, from is there some way one can find out how to participate in that process?
At this point, you say that we have a structure. I wouldn't say that we have a great structure.
Okay.
Just talk to me, email me, and I will connect you, with the folks. So right now we have 5 people on that committee, or if you're interested in bringing a particular artist, just come talk to us. Like I said, we're kind of spaghetti at the wall still in a lot of ways. And again, I'm trying to make that a little more structured with space for flexibility, because I do feel like we need to stay flexible too, as you can tell from our history. That makes great things happen.
Okay, I'll bring a bowl of pasta.
Oh, that sounds great. We'll start throwing.
Please help me thank Monica again for being here today.
Thanks so much.
So thrilled of the history that the Grinnell Area Arts Council has and continued. Technology. Hello? Okay, there we go. And continues to have today. So thank you so much. Thank you.
Thanks for the opportunity.
Yeah, it's so great to see you. I miss you. We worked at Nutcracker all this last winter, and I haven't seen her for a while, so it's really great to have her here. So anyway, I want to remind you of a couple things coming up. So Friday is our next Coffee with the College, and it's an interesting Coffee with the College this Friday. It's a panel with student athletes, and then also individuals who use our recreational facilities at the college. So I'm actually really intrigued by this. This was an idea that came from the athletics department, and I'm excited to see what conversation we have on Friday about both the experience of a student athlete and then individuals using our facilities as recreational wellness usage. So anyway, check that out Friday at 9 o'clock. Then I want to remind you that our very first bucket course this year was an open book project. You remember there was a couple individuals that were here talking about their life experience. We are going to have the next open book series. I'm sorry, it's not during a bucket course time, but it's next Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. here. And we have 2 new books that will be coming and talking about their life experience. I have a poster out in the hallway of those 2 individuals that you're welcome to take, and please tell other people. I really love this project that Cultural is doing, and I'm even more thrilled that I love it even more that it's here in Grinnell. So if you are free next Tuesday night at 6:30, please come and just hear life experiences of 2 more individuals that are living here in Iowa. So that's 2 different things that I wanted to bring to your attention. And then next week, here at Bucket Course, we will welcome Erin Buston from the Grinnell School of Music, and she has asked for a piano. So you're going to get music, which makes sense that she would ask for that. So I'll bring a piano next week, no problem. No, but I can find, we have a whole...
I could just want
Yeah, yes, I should have asked you to dance, darn it. Anyway, next week, looking forward to welcoming Erin here. And then finally, I wish you guys all have a great week, but hopefully I'll see you Friday at Coffee with the College. Take care. Thank you.